Hello all. All right, beautiful day today here in California. At least a little break from the mist and drizzle that we've been having. It's kind of like late spring kind of rains. Mist, sprinkles, cold, hot kind of thing. But down south in Santa Cruz here in California, US, they've got inches and inches of rain. And a little bit just up there, they got 5 inches of rain. San Francisco, hardly anything. So, where to go with this? Well, as you know, I've been talking about the COP25 for some time now, the UN climate crisis, as it's being called. All right, we're getting somewhere. We're getting something done. Like what? The UN chief declared war against nature must stop. Well, that certainly will do a lot, but at least he's saying the right words. So, this is from the COP24. Global temperatures are on track to rise as much as 3.2 degrees C by the end of the century. There's a problem with that, the end of the century. The information that they're gathered and that they came up with this information is minus feedback loops. So the more feedback loops happen, such as methane and other greenhouse gas emissions increase, this will cause that 100 years to get closer and closer, such as 80 years, 70 years, that kind of thing. But that's when everything ends. But there's this whole period of extreme weather, hot, cold, wind, rain, extremes. Everything's extreme before it gets to that high temperature. And we all roast to death that are still around. So the UN chief also said that the U.S. is the biggest carbon emitter of greenhouse gases. Without the U.S., climate goals are not achievable. So the U.S. has to be in these talks to make something achievable. You notice the excuses come in just as fast as they can so that they don't have to change their way. Blame it on somebody else. Yeah, the U.S. is the biggest emitter of greenhouse gases, and it has the most pollution controls on everything that emits pollution, though the Orange Man is quickly undoing all that. So hopefully the climate talks will continue and they'll get somewhere. Let's go just up this way and see if we can find another place to do some more video. It's winter now. People aren't out at all. Got the whole place to myself. There's a few damp spots around and they can't get their little harnesses wet. I cut my finger. Oh. So, more bad news here in the U.S. Yes. Could you have any more bad news? Of course. I'm trying to get that sun out of your eye here. Let me see what I can do. Okay, here in the U.S., the Orange Man is added again. 53 new permits in the Gulf of Mexico are on the table to be issued. This is not good. These are very, very high-risk permits that are being given out. So Trump gave a sweetheart deal to the National Ocean Industrial Association. Many environmental groups are calling this proposal a recipe for disaster. They will be handed out to small oil companies who don't have the resources to handle big oil spills. Oh, that's really good. But of course, we've deregulated all that, so the oil doesn't need to be worried about if it spills. Who cares? It's just the water and the ocean and our beaches. This dangerous proposal is proposed by the director, Scott Angle, BSEE, ties to big oil and gas industry. Really? So they're going to put 53 dangerous oil derricks out in deep water or wherever without any cover for oil spills. Yes, that's the mob way. That's how the mob works. That's how the U.S. works now that it's part of the mob. But that, of course, isn't all. Oil and gas subsidies equal $60 billion from 1950 to 2016. Nuclear power got $85 billion. Renewables only got $34 billion. Why would you put less money into renewables than you do into fossil fuel? That's another thing that the mob would do, but the mob is going to get rid of all the subsidies for renewable because renewable doesn't make enough money for them. So who's at fault for this? Every single human who drives a vehicle is at fault for this. Myself. I can only look at myself. I have driven all my life because that's the way society is made. And getting to work and back, going grocery shopping, doing everything requires fossil fuels in the economy that we have right now. What would happen if we were to take all the fossil fuel off the grid? Yeah, exactly. A lot of dying, dead people. A lot of dead and dying livestock. The only thing that wouldn't die right away would be the wildlife that's around in a few places here and there. But once the nuclear power plants all start erupting and blowing up, that pretty much will clean off the planet Earth, which is really quite a shame. Now, I have a video down in the link that shows you how our planet sort of started all the way to the end. And it's a long video, but it's so interesting watching it. It's sort of a fast basics of how the planet all worked and how everybody got to the place we are. I think it might be quite interesting to some. You should go have a glance at the thing. So I think we have a group of humans coming up from that way. I think we're going to go up this way. Okay, a lot of people dump on cities as if they're dirty, kind of filthy, homelessy kind of places. But in reality, it takes a whole lot of people and puts them in one area where they can do their shopping and everything they need to do by foot, bus, rail, or bicycle, or even a little bit of driving. It makes your footprint much better than living out in a house where you're the only one that lives there and you've got this huge house sitting on the land that used to be wild. Whereas in the city, you're living in apartments, one on top of the other, which has its inconveniences, but it also has its kind of dormitory feel. You get to know all your neighbors much better than you would if you were in some faraway house out in the middle of nowhere. So that's another way you can reduce the footprint. That's a big way. That's a big footprint reduction right there, moving to a city. It's more costly to live there, so your square foot occupation is pretty small, 500, 600 square feet versus 2,000 or 3,000 square feet in a house with the pool and the garage and the driveway and the mail, everything that has to be done to keep somebody going way out in the middle of nowhere. So I think that the future of the planet will see cities for humans to live in. There also can possibly make new cities with some kind of dome over it so they can protect us from what's coming. What's coming? What's coming? As I keep saying over and over, the governments aren't going to do anything. It's going to be us that does something. Oh, twice.
Yeah, I'll switch it.
Why not, huh? Pretty day. It's very slick out. Every time you step, you slide. I keep forgetting what wet ground's like. It's been so long. So we have the front coming in. The wind is picking up. I've got probably about an hour to get home, to get back under cover. That's about the time the rain should be showing up. But for now, what a beautiful day. That's why I like California so much. No matter how bad the weather, wait 24 hours, it'll be fine out again. And it is. With that, I appreciate all the ups, downs, and new subscribers, and definitely the comments. The comments. I found a filter that was on, and it was blocking me from seeing my own comments. I have now deleted that damn filter, so now I can put on comments and see your comments. Now, I haven't figured out how to get people out of blocking. YouTube seems to block people without the channel person knowing about it or being able to do anything about it. But many, many, many are being blocked all over YouTube. If you're being blocked, there's no way to contact Pink yet, but they're saying that they're going to soon have a way for one channel to contact another. You would think they would have done that years ago. Now where to go? This way or that way? Well, I don't know. But until next time.